In this video, Vivek Ramaswamy spars with Jordan Peterson. It's going to be an interesting one. Basically, they're going to be speaking on how to choose a partner. So let's get to it.
What do you think you've done, or your wife has done, or both of you have done, that makes your marriage work? Like, how long have you been married first? Why do you think your marriage could sustain the pressures of an extended campaign and then a potential presidency? Because that's a hell of a lot to ask for any bond to maintain that many transformations. What have you guys done that should, let's say, speak to a certain degree of confidence among the listeners in the integrity of the commitments that you've made on the family front?
Well, I would say that the superficial answer is we just got very lucky. The deeper answer is I think we chose well. The true answer is I think that we were set up by fate, I think by God, to be in this marriage with one another. I mean, I've never met and will never meet somebody in my life who pushes me. And I think it's the push actually between us, right? It was, I think that Apurva, she pushes me to be the best version of myself. The only person more unforgiving of my failure to be the best version of myself than me. I'm very unforgiving of myself, but there's one person even more unforgiving and unsparing, and that's Apurva. And I return the favor to her. And I think that push.
How do you do that without alienating each other? How do you do that without alienating each other?
I think it is, well, occasionally there will be spikes of it in moments of insecurity.
Yeah.
But the lack of alienation doesn't actually come from the without. That comes from within, right? So when you have somebody who loves you and is pushing you to be the best version of yourself because they know that they can expect more of you, and then you lash out at them, as I, on occasion, may in my weaker moments do, that is actually an insecurity in me. And I think that my ability to at least see that is part of and she helps me see it, right? Understands enough of me to understand what those moments of insecurity are, to just say, okay, he didn't mean what he just said, but we're going to actually get to the bottom of this. That's actually been for us a very different way that might not be working for everybody else. It's not just like two magnets that are automatically stuck. That's been the result of it. It's actually two people who are in a constant cooperative.
I think it boils down to love and alignment in values. So yeah, when you have love, you understand that if the other person is pushing you or even being a little bit, should I say aggressive towards you, is because they are trying to get you to your best and they are doing it from a place of love. So it's love and value alignment. I think so.
Struggle in pushing one another to be the best version of ourselves.
Right.
And I think that's the way I would describe it. Is I think actually that cooperative tension is part of what actually keeps our marriage and our family unit so deeply steel level strong. And I think that is.
I think Ben Shapiro.
Arranged by fate.
Shapiro.
I don't think we would have found it.
Shapiro told me that the Hebrew word for Eve means beneficial adversary. And it means optimized player.
Wow.
It means something like optimized player in a challenging game. Right? So
that's the best description of it. That's exactly how it feels. You caught me in trying to describe it. I have a feeling it's hard to capture in words.
Yeah.
You just captured it in words. That is it. And it just actually raises another one of these kind of conservative values that's a little bit uncouth maybe to talk about, or you're not supposed to, it's beyond the pale to talk about right now, but it's just the importance of choosing who you marry and choosing very well, and almost the responsibility that I'm grateful that my parents, Apurva's parents, both exercised in making sure that they were, filtering for making sure, understanding their kid probably better than anybody else. That's something that I think many parents abdicate today, is to say that, I think he would find somebody more matched for him, but at least he's happy, or at least she's happy. And you're studying Exodus, but this might be more of a Genesis example. I think it's probably late in book of Genesis when Abraham...
Sometimes it shocks me. I know he went to a Catholic school when he was a teenager, but the fact that he's Hindu and he quotes the Bible this often is surprising. Doesn't it surprise you as well?
Book of Genesis when Abraham sends his servant after he has him put his hand under his thigh for the moment of commitment. That was just how they made commitments back then. We don't put people's hands under their thighs now, but that was, I think, the biblical version of a solid commitment to say, go back all the way over there to our homeland to find the proper spouse for my son Isaac, he was the son that God asked him to sacrifice. He didn't have to sacrifice. It was important to him to know that he went all the way there. And what if I come back empty-handed? He said, you will not come back empty-handed. If you do, I will relieve you of your promise, but do not come back empty-handed. And I do not want I don't want marrying someone, a Canaanite or something like this. So he brings back Rebecca. And I think it's just a beautiful story of the importance of parental, it doesn't always have to be this way, but the spirit of it at least is, if it's not a parent, it's someone close to you. Maybe it's a best friend, but who really cares enough about you to say that maybe that's not the right person. And what I will tell you is, in the period that Apurva and I were dating.
So is this like partly advocating for arranged marriage? Because even the scripture he might have quoted seemed like it was an arranged marriage. Let me know what you think about that.
Pragmatically, we knew we were going to get married, but we were waiting for her to finish medical school. And by the pragmatism of, all of that, if I was to do it again, we would have just gotten married sooner and just be done with it. We don't have to have a big ceremony about it. But we started in 2011. We got married in 2015. There wasn't one person who cared about either of us who would have looked and said, maybe you want to take a step back and take it a little bit slower. But if the people around me who know me best, they would have stepped up, including my parents and family members and my brother and, my best friends. They would have stepped up and said, hey, this isn't right. Why don't you, are you sure you want to go this fast? Take it slow. Not a single person around me said it because they knew it was right. But I think it also just highlights the importance of, we could say we got lucky, but I think that actually it was the fabric around us, each of us, that helped us get it right too. And so I think even the importance of who you choose in your marriage, I mean, the Bible has a lot to say about this. Hindu tradition has a lot to say about this. My parents have a lot to say about this. And if you asked me 20 years ago, I would never be saying this right now, but I think that actually there is a role for family members to play. In
That's wise role for wise counsel.
It is, yeah, and I enjoyed that. And I thankfully, I'm eternally grateful that I was blessed with the wife that I have now. That was not a product of accident.
That's so beautiful to hear. I mean, it's so nice to speak about your wife in that manner. Recently, I was watching a video of Patrick Bet-David. He said when he had an argument with his wife, and usually the wife would come back so offended, and he asked the wife, who are the people you go to for advice? And she mentioned 5 of her friends. And he didn't like that. He said, when we have a fight, I go to these 5 people, my dad, I think my mom, family members, and they always speak well about you and remind me that you're such a good woman. But when you go to your friends, they speak bad about me, which makes you feel more angry towards me. And basically urged her to change that, the line of advice she was getting. That was a very good video. If you haven't seen it, let me know. I can go search for it and I'll show you the video. But speaking about your spouse in that manner, it's not always, people like to think when you're speaking about your spouse, it has to be, we get along, we are always happy. No, you don't always have to be happy. It's when you go through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you're still thriving, then that's a good partner for you. I was watching a video yesterday of Derrick Rose. He just recently got traded to Memphis Grizzlies. And he said in his career, he's been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the fact that he's still here means he's going to do great things, which that's how you should see any situation. You have to go through all 3 phases to know if your marriage, your life, your career is going to thrive. So see life like that. Anyways, this is the end of this video. Feel free to share your thoughts. If there's anything you want to add, correct, or critique, please do so in the comment section. That being said, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.